Good evening, team. I hope we had the best of the day. I wish to introduce you to the fifth day lecture under Smart Marks Net Education Center. The in the summary for the previous lectures, I'll make a quick one. In the first lecture, we were introduced to computers. In the introduction we were given to computers, we came to understand or to simplify how the connection of information flow in the computer. We referred it to the library. We talked of the ROMs as being a primary memory. We talked of the hard drive as a secondary memory. We talked of input and output devices. We defined a computer being something or a device that can input information. After inputting that information through an input device like a keyboard, so you press information. Once you press that information, it goes to the processor that does the computation. So the processor, we said it's a brain of a computer. After it does the computation, then now it will consult with the primary memory and the secondary memory, then it will be able to give you the information in as an output device through the monitor, and you see what you want to see. So you are typing in Microsoft Office or whatever application you're using. When you type in it, that letter you type, is it letter R, letter B, letter C? That is how the information is flowing. When you type that letter C, that information is an input that will be now displayed in a form of an output on your screen of your computer. So basically, that was the introduction. Then we went to the parts of a computer, and in the parts we talked of the hardware segment. The hardware segment, we had mentioned the importance of the opened computer. We had split open a machine. That is one of the devices. From there, which is a personal computer, we showed how power gets to flow. We had mentioned when you press the power on button as an input, the power will get to flow through the system. Part of it goes to the battery, the rest goes to the processor. The processor will demarcate to the USB ports to attach the external devices that are attached. There is a hard drive or secondary storage device, the RAM consultation, and at the end of the day, the information will get to flow through the display port. And we had mentioned sometimes we have the HDMI for display port, sometimes you have a VGA, which we're able to see the information flow through there. We had mentioned some computers come with a network adapter, now, which is a laptop. So we mentioned of a network adapter, and on that network adapter, we had mentioned that it is the one that enables Wi-Fi access, but for desktops, we get to buy some type of network adapter. But if we want, that is for wireless connection. But if we want to use wired network on the computer, we talked of the Ethernet jack that is able to allow us to connect a small cable with a small plastic ending called the RJ45, registered jack 45. So information is able to enter through it, and we're able to have access to the net, and the computer will be used. So there are a lot of extended USB ports that a computer will get to use. Like mentioned, there is a graphic card in the CPU or system unity, which has a motherboard, and hard drive, RAMs, everything that contained in the system unity. So the computer in parts, we can say as the keyboard, as the mouse, as the monitor, as the CPU, the system unity. The system unit in it has the motherboard, hard drives, the fan, the heatsink or the cooling system. We talked of other internal devices that are there in the computer to make it run. So that was the hardware segment. Then from the hardware, the day that followed, we went into the software. So the software, we said there is a foundation software that is called the system software. That is where type was an example as an operating system. Then we talked of now application or top softwares, application softwares. Application softwares are user friendly. So when these application software are the ones we usually that interacts with us human beings who are dealing with a computer. So whatever you're able to see on the computer, it's the software that is bringing that information. So what is getting to happen is you are interacting with the application softwares. The application softwares, one property we mentioned about them is they are specific. E.g., you have VLC specifically for music. You have Microsoft Office Suite, which will have a lot of apps in it. There'll be Word that you'll be able to type. Word specifically before typing. PowerPoint with a presentation. So because of its specificity, it's able to communicate and relay that information. Now, when we talk or relate to such applications which are specific, we give it the human language. We give it the interpretation that can be understood only by human beings. So that now needs to translate it. How does it do it? It will translate it and communicate to the operating system, that is the system software. Once it communicates to the system software now is the one that will interact now with the hardware components and be able to give feedback through the application software. Then we'll be able to see the information that we need through that application software. So basically, it is our mediator, the mediator between the hard drives and the RAM and what, the only thing that mediates us, application software. Then we also mentioned of the firmware. These are the addition of the combination of the hardware and the software embedded together. These are chips. We said firmware cannot be easily erased from the system. This firmware comes together with a chip. And part of the firmware mentions is a BIOS. That is, the BIOS itself, it is the one now that turns on the computer. When you turn on the computer, information or this chip called the BIOS, it has a software embedded in it. So this software is the one that will go and wake up the operating system from the hard drive and be able now to send information for posting to be seen on the screen. So the BIOS is something very important. We talked about system applications and how to download them. We mentioned some websites and how to make on the USB disk, because the system softwares, these system software, they are the basic, they are the foundation. So before you put anything in the hard drive, the computer will not even turn on to show you anything if there is no system software in the computer or the operating system. So we use a different storage device like a flash that is made from another computer through that method that we had discussed, that video that was shown, and you'll be able to make the operating system. After I make the operating system, then just on top, you can even log in through the same computer and download now the application software, the VLC, the PDF readers, the WhatsApp, the Facebook apps, many Windows, Office, all those, you can get to install them later on. So that was on the software category. We had gone really vast into it to understand what they are. We talked about the licensing. We talked about the importance of the antivirus. We said it is safeguarding, it's building a wall around us, around the computer, around the information that we have put in the computer, and it's creating one gate, which is the inlet outlet, which is a secured route. So by virtue of updating it or buying or using a genuine license, what you are having is a protected territory that cannot be, and it will be able to isolate intruders that are coming in. Putting more than one operating system, you're overriding the system. So basically that was on softwares. Now later on, that was yesterday, we had now gone to talk about the network. We talked of a network as the connections that people get to have, or in the humans, the social type of networks are the friends. So when people are networking, you can't be networking alone. There has to be more than two people that are networking, minimum of two people, so to say. So the networking or your network as comprises of individuals that are sharing information. So we said the network are different. Computer network, they are different. The number of computers that are just connected together. There's nothing special about the network. The only thing that the network does is just the same type of a cable that we call the Ethernet cable or USB cable connecting two computers. That is a network. You just by virtue of doing a Bluetooth of your phone to the computer, it is a network, because you are able to share photos from your phone to the computer. Photos can move from your PC to your phone. That is a network. And in the network, there is always a sender and a receiver. So if your computer is sending information to your phone is the receiver at that point, your computer is the sender. When your phone is sending pictures to the computer, your phone has become the sender. Then the PC that is receiving that information is the receiver. Simple and straightforward. Now, why do we look at it? We say this connection can either be wireless or can be wired. So you can do via Bluetooth connection and you're able to do data share. That is fine. That is wireless. You can also do through wired, where you have a cable, USB cable, and you connect and you're having that. So that is a network. There's nothing peculiar or fascinating or something out of the planet that we understand about networking. It's just the connection of computers. Now, there's what we call wireless connection. So wireless connection is the Bluetooth and other things that we mentioned. Now, we talked of different categories of this type of networking. So what we had mentioned was there was a simple thing as a personal network as a category. Because of the small connections that are done, the phone connected to the PC, that's a small connection. And we had talked of a bigger connection, something that can get bigger or more a bit complex. We talked of a LAN. This is a big company that we are talking about. It's a big company. It has about maybe 200 or 300 workers, different offices. There's a purchasing office. There's different departments, so to say. So these offices each has maybe four members each. They have their computers and all those are networked. They are connected together so that information can be able to come in. Now, what we call that is a LAN. We said it's a LAN. It's a local area network. So because it's a local area network, people are in that system can be able to share information and can be able to interact. Now, from there, what we mentioned was away from there, there can be something bigger. Because what that means when we are talking of a LAN network only, we just want information to be shared amidst us. So it's like Office 1 sends information to Office 2, Office 3 sends information to Office 5, and data will be shared just like that. Now, we are going to use there are a lot of devices that we use for connection. We had mentioned the switches, the hubs. So if there is a hub, basically Office 1, when it sends information, all the offices receives that information. But if we have a switch, specifically Office 1 will be told you are the sender, so who is going to receive? Then that information will be directed to that specific one. When we attach a router in the system, what we are saying is, can we attach wireless connection? So that will be attached. So basically, a LAN will allow a company to interact. I don't need to move when I've typed a letter. I don't need to move from my office to the 7th or 8th office to go deliver that information. No, I just need to send because we are all linked. These computers can be able to share information. And one thing I should make clear, please, computers can't just send information to the USB drive, to a flash or hard drive. No, they can even send to another computer connected without using a hard drive or something. Just connect direct and information will be able to flow. And this computer will be able to come here and it will show itself that there's this computer that is connected. You have connected computer 1, computer 2, computer 3. It's very simple. You'll be able to see them on your computer. There's 10 computers that are connected on your site, so you can be able to send information specifically on the folder. Whatever you'll be sending, those people will start receiving it because they'll also be seeing information is coming from this one, is coming from me, and you'll be able to watch. You don't need a flash if you have two computers. You can just connect it to computers and information will flow. So basically, this is what we're talking about. So a LAN will allow only computers to connect within that area. Then we talked of a metropolitan. Metropolitan was it's a combination of lands. So there's this company, there's another hospital, there's a court that is there's a company, there's, different institutions. So there's a school, there's a college, there's a hospital, there's what. So now what happens is these people, they want to be communicating. This company wants to be dealing with what the manufacturing company is doing. They don't want, it's a school. People want to get information, the books, the what. They don't want to go to the hospital there to start. No, the information will be sent through the computers that are connected. So one computer will send information to this one, to this school, the other school, the other hospital, the company, all these schools, everything that is connected, all those different ones. They'll be able to share information, and that is in a man. So metropolitan, uh, the network will be spread and a bit more complex. Then we talked of a wide area network. Now, this wide area network, it's where now we are talking that, let's say this is in Zambia. There's a hospital, there's a company, there's a court, they want to share this information. Another one is in Namibia. Another one is in Ethiopia. Another one is in South Africa. Another one is outside, maybe another continent, Asia, talk of USA, talk of Brazil. So all those different areas, different places, but they want to communicate. So now, what do they get to use? So we are talked of devices called of repeaters. So repeaters are signal boosters basically, because these computers are connected together and there are devices that are allowing wireless connection. So some of these signals might be weak, e.g. your Bluetooth. When you are talking of your Bluetooth, you connect your PC to your Bluetooth or headsets, Bluetooth headsets, then you're listening. By virtue of moving a short distance above 10 meters, you find your headsets are disconnected. Why? Because the signal has been weakening. Bit by bit, the signal is weakening. So now, if you put an amplifier or a repeater, so to say, a repeater will boost the signal. Maybe at 9 meters, it will boost. You have another 9-meter distance to go from where you are. So you keep putting them, another 9 meter, another 9 meter, another 9 meter. You keep putting them. You can go all the way from the stretch. If you're from Lusaka, you can go all the way from Copper Belt, and you'll be able to send information from your phone, the Bluetooth, from that phone to your computer that is left in Lusaka. You'll be able to send because the repeater is amplifying the signal. So this is what these people or these network towers that we see they are put about. They are just amplifying the signal. It's something that you can talk. If you have come across or you've heard of a radio message, people are able to communicate from one place to another without without talk time, without anything, for free. So what you're doing is the company like MTN, Airtel, and Zamtel, they use the same system, but what they do is because they are able to allow further movement, they have repeaters put around. So because of that, they introduce SIM cards. They introduce SIM cards, which will be a network adapter that will be pushed in, and they're able to control the data traffic that is going to be there. Basically, that is networking. We talked about web pages that are there that were introduced. We had talked a lot of things that are there. So a web page is nothing other than a store or a shop that has been marketed online. What we said is we don't want, a long time ago, someone wants to talk to a computer that is in USA. You are in Zambia. You have to ask for permission. You have to ask for the IP address. Then you send information and get information. But what we said is, why can't all these computers come on one platform and seem like one? So that when we search, they're able to give us information there and then, and specific URI can come, URL. So a specific resource will come and show us the specific location of that thing that we want. So there came the thousands and thousands of web pages. Now those web pages, each one is like a computer that is showing, it's a node or a computer that is connected on this network. So now what we said is each one should be identified. Now we remember that that network adapted the computer as a MAC address. So that one is imprinted and it's permanent for individual identification. But then later on we mentioned that actually there was an introduction of IP addresses. So IP addresses are like phone numbers. Now because individuals can't know this, all the computers that are on the network as phone numbers to keep those digits, the easier thing that was put about is a domain name. So there is what we call University of Zambia, there is Google, there is Facebook, there is what? All those are domain names. So those domain names, they allow us to easily know what we're talking about. But a DNS server will be able to tell the computer that IP address that has been stored. So it's like it stores the name and the IP address so that when we search, it will be able to, us will just enter the name, but it will know what specific information has contained and which computer that information refers to. It will find from that message that we have sent. We would go deeper into this, but we don't want to do that much. We wanted to give much of a summary for the past to see how these things are connected. Last, we come to external devices that can be connected to the computers. So on the external devices, the external accessory connections, that's why we said we'll talk of the printers and other external things that are connected. Tomorrow we'll do questioning and answerings, then certification. So let's get into it. So on the external connected devices, we have the microphone, and now we are going to talk about its use, the printers and the scanners, the webcam, hard drives, and the USB disks. And starting with the microphone, we see that a microphone basically it's just converting sound into electrical signal. So as an input device, what is basically getting to happen is the sound that will come, there is what we call a diaphragm. There is what we call a diaphragm. So the diaphragm will get to be shaken once the sound vibrates. As the sound vibrates, this diaphragm will be converted, and after that sound, the sound waves hits a diaphragm, and that which making it to vibrate. After doing the vibration, we are going to have the electrical signal that will be sent. So the electrical current will be sent through, and that audio signal will be inputted or sent to the device that will be able to understand. It's a simple principle. It's a sound. The diaphragm is contained in the microphone. It's a transducer. So it's a transducer is a converter of that signal from the sound, physical sound signal to what the system can understand. Mind you, most of these devices that we talk about, there is a computer language that you and me cannot. It's very complicated for you and me to talk it or to speak it. We can have different languages. Some can speak Tonga, Swahili, Bemba, different languages. The computer also has a specific language that it communicates. So what it does is all these electronic devices that we get to see is we get to communicate through our normal language, then something understands through electrical signal and be able to take in a language that the computer can understand. And once the feedback comes, an output device will get to be given. So the speaker will tell, oh, what this person said is this and that. But basically, know that whatever you say is not what the computer understands and work on. No, the computer needs to convert that into the signal that it can understand. So that is the microphone. We come to printers and scanners. So in simple terms, a printer can be defined as a hardware output. We mentioned this. It is used to generate the hard copy of a document. It generates from soft copy to hard copy. A scanner is the opposite. A scanner can be called an input because it's taken from soft to hard copy. So basically that. And this is what we see the different types of printers. So there are impact printers and non-impact. What we mean by impact printers, they are physical, like a typewriter. Whenever you're pressing, it is making something, like it's making a mark on the writing. So the impact printers, there and then, when you're working around it, it is already doing the job. Then what we call non-impact printers have different special systems that they get to work around. So we have the laser, inkjet, thermo, and all these. But basically, we are going to talk about the non-impact because these are the common ones that you're seeing around. Most of the printers are going to come across. They're either laser jet or inkjet. One is using ink or the other one is using toner. Laser is just toner. Ink is basically the ink cartridges. So basically, those are the two that we're going to talk about. Now we come to the inkjet. So these are the parts of the inkjet, which we're calling the inkjet. I think one or two of us, or maybe most of us, have come across such a printer that looks something like this. So in this printer that you're seeing here, we have magnified just the segment, what this point is showing here. This image is showing here, it has been magnified here. You can see there's something that looks whitish, different from the color, that can make you squeeze it. Once you squeeze from here, there's something that keeps moving while you're loading the paper on top here. When you're loading the paper, there's something that keeps moving. When you squeeze, it starts getting smaller, bigger. Then there's a white thing also that is following. It's like when you push it inside, it's also getting small. Out, it goes out. Basically, that is for paper adjustment. So this is where you load in your paper that you want to print. You push here. This is just a supporter. You push your paper, you adjust this to make sure that the papers are held tight. You don't want a paper when it is pulled one side. You want it to be pulled out properly. And in most cases, you see this is the head. The head inside here, there's a scanner. When you lift here, there's come to be a scanner. So you put your scanner. So it's a combination. So this most modern system now, they have combined the system. Underneath there are toners. Here is where the paper will come out from. This is just a paper supporter. And this is where you turn on the power. Basically, it's a basic principle as such. So if you want to know what each means, there's this that has explained it, what each is and what is able to do. But it's basically what we have explained. Now, what is the principle behind this? You see that this principle of the inkjet, it's all about using the ink, and the ink is being sprayed on the paper. So it has different mechanisms that have been explained. which basically are used to get this information from the ink to print out on the paper. So it reads more like information that has been given in soft copy, which is going to be converted, and it will be converted when this toner will be heated, more like in the vapor. And after that vapor has been heat, it is the one that will be attached to the paper. So after being attached to the paper, whatever information that was there will be printed out or come out on the paper. But this is come out slow. The system is cheap, but it's a bit slow, because sometimes even the paper will come out not dried enough. So those are the disadvantages that we have. So the ink cartridges, they have what we call ink cartridges, the ink which we push in. This comes in various combinations, such as separate, some are black color. We usually put bigger black than colors. There are three black types, three colors, sorry, three color types. The printer head stopper motor. It's basically something that will be moving the whole top, back, the assembly. Sometimes if you have opened the printer or scanner, something that moves like a light is coming in, passing under the paper and all that. So that's basically what we're talking about. There are belts that has to move that. There are stabilizers that have to come that. So we come to the paper feed assembly, is where the tray actually, where you're getting to load your papers. There are rollers. It's what is putting the papers in and out. Paper feed stepper motor. It's just something that will be put in the paper and fit in according to our main page. Print 4, print 5, they'll be given out like that. It's nothing much complicated. So we come to the disadvantages of inkjet. The low cost and relatively high quality of print data offered by the inkjet. It has a low cost, but they'll give you a good quality. Now, what are the advantages? They have no warm-up time and practically no warm-up time and low cost per page. No noise, and the disadvantages of the ink cartridges, they are expensive. Just to buy the ink, the same ink cartridge there, it's kind of expensive. Sometimes, I remember some time back, to buy just those colors, the black and the ink, the black and the color, all of them, you'll be basically be buying another new set. So some time back, we just used to buy the whole printer. We finish, we throw it, we get another one, because it was cheaper and it will come already when the new one will come loaded with ink. So basically, there was just getting them. No wonder they flooded much of the market. So we move away from this one, we come to a laser now, a toner based. So laser printers are the fastest and the most popular printers at the moment, and with very good quality. They produce extremely high quality images, some nearest to the photo. So the main principle in the laserjet is that the working of a laser printer is static electricity. Uh, we will understand it properly. Let's see the next image through the drum. So what you're seeing here is what we have in the middle here is a drum. So what I mean by they are using the atom system. The atom system is basically the magnetic aspect. If you put magnets, you're saying that negative, there will be a repulsion between same poles. There will be kind of dislike poles, similar, dissimilar poles. There will be attraction. So because of that, that's a kind of a principle that this system gets to use. And if you can see, so information is fed from what is coming from the computer here. It is going to be reflected on the drum. This is the most key principle that it uses. Is this called the photoreceptor drum assembly? So this drum here, information will be printed on it by this corona wire. It will be printed as this laser comes here. It will be reflected by the lens here, reflected on this drum that we have. Once the information, it will be rotating once it's rotating. So this information, once it is embedded there, there's this powder called the toner that will be dropping now, attaching to this same drum. Then at the end of the day, when a paper is put from your tray, here there is 1,000 of papers under in the tray there. So one paper is put, the rollers put the paper. Once the paper comes here, with this printed information that is here, it will be kind of printed. It's almost the size of a paper, this drum. So all the information will be printed on it. Once that information is printed on it, ink will come on it. And once that ink comes on it, it will come and now fully reprint it back on a paper, and your paper is warmed up. Then it can go now into the fusers, which fuse the ink on the paper, and the paper comes out. Basically, this is what happens in the printer. So your toner here is what you push in day to day. The ink, the toner finishes, you put another one. It's simple as that. We are expanding the drum. This is the drum. If you have noticed, what is in the middle here, that is rotating, the drum here, we have just expanded just this part to see whatever is here. That's what we have expanded on the next page. So this is the drum here. So this is the laser, where the laser was coming from. So this is a writer image. So the laser is pinning that image onto here. It's coming from the lens. So once that image hits up on the drum, which is rotating, there is a toner that is releasing the particles. This is the paper that is coming in. So as the paper is coming, this toner will be falling on it. We see that the laser, the drum here has a cleanup blade here, which keeps extra toner that is attaching to it on top here, because the toner can only attach on the paper that has been imprinted. It's like on this drum, the drum has been given a printout. It's not visible, but it's a printout in terms of a like pour that has been given. So this one will be put only according to what has been given. So it will attach on those specific points. After that is, then the fuser now will embed that now ink or toner, sorry, onto a paper, and the paper will go out to be released. Basic and simple principle of the printer. So this is a process that has been explained, what we have just talked about. There is a paper feeding, the drum cleaning, that's what is the residue. Imaging the drum, the imaging drum is the one that is treated. Transferring toner to the drum is the toner, the toner that was there putting on the drum. Transferring toner to the paper is infusing by the fusers. Basically, that's a common simple program. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages of this LaserJet? The laser printers have a number of advantages over the rival ink technology because they produce higher quality, better than that. And you can see that the laser printers are well known for their speed and they can handle large chunks. These are the ones we use in industrials because they are super fast. They can produce a number of pages and you'll benefit from that. We come to scanners, which is working opposite to the printers. Scanners work by shining a light at an image. So you put a paper there, there's a lamp underneath, that light will shine underneath the document or the paper that you insert. And this deflected light is then directed into a photosensitive technology through the mirrors and lenses, then converted into electronic data. It's like you put a paper, underneath there's a powerful light that is reflecting onto this paper. As it does that, it is able, that light that is hitting there will be reflected on the other end. And that deflection of a light will be converted now into the soft copy that will go to the computer. The below paper image shows it. So what we are saying is basically there's a document that has been put. So a document has been put, which is laying in the printer. When you lift, you put your document there. Once you put, there's a powerful lamp underneath that shines on it and reflects whatever is written on it according to the color and anything that it contains, and reflects it onto the mirror. Now this mirror reflects the light back to the lens. Now these are the ones from the lens. These are photosensitive devices. So they're sensitive to different lights, and they are going to convert now this light to the digital or the soft copy that is going to the computer. Basically just that. So now we come to the webcam. What is a webcam? Well, a webcam is a common video camera that lets users use it for Zoom or online sessions. Digital cameras can be linked to a personal computer and used to transmit live videos. So some computers now, people are using laptops, and laptops basically have the webcam installed on them, but there are some computers that don't have. So you can buy an external webcam and be able to install it. This looks like something of those nature that I've seen there. There are about 3 of those, a specific type that you pick, and you'll be able to mount it on top of your computer. Once you connect it to a USB port, you're able to view or make videos, and some are very good actually, better than the webcam that comes on our phones. You want a very good HD, you want to make a song, you want to make a presentation, you want to make what? You want something full HD. So you can buy just a webcam in place instead of using the webcam that comes on your PC or a laptop, and put such ones, and you'll be able to view, and they'll be able to do the same thing similar to what a microphone does. They'll get the picture, send it to the signal that the computer can understand, and the information will flow and be taken as it's supposed to be taken. We'll talk of the external hard drives. External hard drives, well, these ones, they are actually outside, and they allow data or storage expansion. So the storage that is inside your computer is small. The secondary storage, you can allow more information to be given from outside as an external hard drive. That is a picture. If you've come across those external hard drives, something like that. The USB flash, this one don't need to talk much. I think most of you have used it to transfer information, and basically one and the same. They are removable, you're able to send information to them and be able to transfer between computers as such, and they look something like that. This is what concludes our study for today and the lecture for today. It never contained much, no wonder I went much into the summary of the past lectures, because they are the ones that looked bulkier and needed to be broken down. At this point in time, we are now preparing for tomorrow's lecture. Tomorrow's lecture, we are talking of a question and answers. So what will be done is, it is simple. Questions will be posted in the group. We know the number of the people that are in the group, but we will post the questions. So once those questions are posted, before certification comes about, and the individual can pick any question that will be there. Once they pick from the group, they'll be able to do a WhatsApp audio recording. They'll send to the personal numbers that they were sending the link, the money transfers on. They'll send the audio of the answer, then it will be posted in the group so that other people can get to know. So it will be simple. If the question says, what is a USB? So the person picks it, you just say the USB, my question is, what is a USB? So the USB is actually a universal serial bus. That is an external storage device that can be used to send information between computers. So basically that information, according to the notes that we've given, you pick up that, you share it, because we want people now to summarize the information through those questions and answers. Then we'll go through them together as a team. I wish to thank you all for taking this time to be part and participate in this. You know, knowledge gained is always knowledge earned. It's something that differentiates, and spending time is important. We spend 100 kwacha, but the information that we have gained is quite a lot that is going to help us in other aspects of our lives, because understanding computers helps to see the world a little bit clearer without lenses. Like you have added lenses to see something more clear that was a bit blurred. That is what your system has done. So please feel free to ask questions where you're not clear. Otherwise, this is where we end with our discussion. Thank you.